Greetings, children of the screen, your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again. And today we're going to be talking about Joker 2. And specifically why, if you didn't like Joker 2, there's a very good reason for that. And it's none of the reasons why people are stating that Joker 2 is unliked or bad. But we'll get to that in just a minute. First off, I haven't really talked a lot online on my channel here about the first movie Joker, because I know a lot of people like it. And honestly, I didn't. I didn't like it almost at all. The only redeeming quality of that first movie is the performance by Joaquin Phoenix and some of the other performances. The performances are all very solid and captivating, and it makes it very easy to sympathize with the character of Arthur Fleck. And the reason I didn't like the movie was that, number one, it just wasn't a great movie. It's very simplistic. It basically is a remake of King of Comedy with aspects of visuals from Taxi Driver thrown in, and then the studio forcing more DC Comics like decoration on it to help convince people that this was a Batman-related movie, which it was never intended to be. In fact, if you go back and watch interviews, it's very clear from both Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips, the director, that this movie was a troll on comic book movie fans. It was a marketing scheme, a marketing stunt, because they knew that they could literally make any movie they wanted to. And as long as they slapped a comic book title on it, people would go to see it. And Joker's one of the most popular and well-known comic book characters, so it made sense, and it provided them a framework where they could make some kind of movie that they wanted to make, even if that movie wasn't original or very good. That movie was made because they believed that the audiences who go to see comic book movies are stupid, and they wanted to get a paycheck and just be able to fuck around and make whatever movie they wanted. Like I said, I know a lot of people like the movie, and you're welcome to like whatever you want to like, absolutely. I mean, I love Surf Ninjas. It's not a good movie, but I love it. And frankly, a lot of the arguments for why people say they love the first movie just don't hold any water. Like, again, the movie's very simplistic. Somehow people missed the fact that in this movie, every time we go inside Arthur's head, the color scheme completely changes. It is so obvious that none of those things are real, but yet somehow people were still surprised when they reveal it at the end. Like, what the hell? Like, media literacy is so low at this point, it's ridiculous. There are also people who have said that they really love that first film because it says something. And when you ask what it says, oh, it says something about the state of mental health care. Okay, well, what does it say? The state of mental health care is inadequate. Oh, the most baseline, simplistic, across-the-board thing that you could say. And it says nothing about mental health care beyond that. And in fact, most of the people who say it's about mental health care also say that Arthur's laughing is part of his mental health issues. It's a fucking neurological disorder. Those are two completely different goddamn things. And I've also heard it said from a lot of these people, especially the ones who hate the second film, that, hey, maybe we just like the character of the Joker, but you don't. You like the idea of the character of the Joker. And you say that you don't like the second film because it shits all over that character, but if you actually liked the character of the Joker, you'd recognize that the character that we are presented with in the first Joker movie is not the Joker. In fact, again, the filmmakers even said, he's not the Joker, multiple times. The only two things those characters have in common is that they wear clown makeup and they kill people. That is it, okay? And if you really loved or knew the character of the Joker, then you would hate the first film for the reason that you say you hate this film, which is that it shit all over it. But if you did love the first film and you hate this one, it's not because they shit on that character. They're keeping completely in line with what the first movie presented in terms of that character. The reason you hate it is because that it's about you. It's because you didn't understand the simplistic, basic, surface-level aspects of the first movie, and you somehow took it on as a part of your identity. The first movie is a power fantasy about someone who has always been put down and kept down and abused by everyone in their life, finally lashing out. But it is a power fantasy that is embedded in a descent into madness. Everybody loves the staircase scene, and everyone misses the point. Everyone's like, that's so awesome, he's becoming the Joker, it's so cool. No, he's literally dancing down the stairs because he is delving deeper into disassociation and into madness. It is not a glorious, uplifting scene. It's the turning point where he loses all grip on reality. Because the performance of Joaquin Phoenix is so strong, it's easy to sympathize with him and put yourself in his place. But when people are doing that, they're completely removing any logic or thought from their mind and just following their emotional core, which is what we do today.
When I first saw Joker, when I saw you and Murray Franklin, the whole time I was watching, I kept thinking, I hope this guy blows his brains out. And then you did. And for once in my life, I didn't feel so alone anymore.
If you watch the character arc of Lady Gaga in the second film, it is a projection of the fans of the first movie, as well as a prediction of how they will react to this one. As I said, keep in mind that that first movie is made by people who think that you who love it are stupid, and that you would go see it and make them a lot of money. But they never expected it to be the juggernaut that it became. The sequel is a reaction to all of you fans of the first movie. It's because the message of the second movie is that you, the fans of the first movie, are what's wrong with the world. It's a critique of you. It gives you the finger and lets you know that you're a part of the problem. A society of rage junkies where victimhood is the only currency of value that will prop up any social cause if it makes them look better or feel better about themselves, even if they have no comprehension of what that cause actually is or is about. Arthur Fleck, as stated in the second film, was never the Joker. That's why the movie's called Joker, not The Joker. He's a mentally ill, sad, and unfortunately pathetic man who the world discounted, and then the moment he lashed out, the world projected all their ideas of rebellion onto him and turned him into an icon and political hero. But he never fucking was. It was never real. That's what people put on him, what they projected onto him, in the exact same way that the fans who loved the first movie took it on as a part of their identity. I've never seen a film that gives as big a middle finger to its fan base as this one does, and it does it with purpose and exquisite precision, hence the extreme backlash. This sequel is 1,000 times better than the first film. It actually has something to say, and everything from the cinematography to the performances are just superior in every single way. The filmmaking is better, the writing is better, the character development is better. It's an actual real movie, not just a marketing stunt where they threw a bunch of stuff that they liked and created a performance that Joaquin Phoenix could be interested in. I've kind of tried to stay free of spoilers here, but there's going to be at least one big spoiler coming right now. The climax of the film and the thesis of the film is not actually the end of the movie that everybody, like the very last scene in the movie back in prison that everybody's focusing on. It's the scene before that, on the staircase with Lee, where she tells Arthur Fleck that Joker was a fantasy, and he ruined it. He broke the fantasy. That is a literal message directed at you, the fans of the first film. What you loved was never real. You were projecting onto it, creating this figure that never existed in the film in your head so that you could relate to him and like have this power fantasy and feel empowered by the movie and say, hell yeah, screw the rich, kill them all. Despite the fact that the rich, who are like the main political opposition that is focused on in the first movie, are the people making the movie. Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix, Warner Brothers, these are the rich people. They're not making a movie that's against themselves. It was all about the idea of people projecting onto someone else. And this movie beautifully deconstructs that while diving deeper into Arthur's disassociation and how that can be a tug of war that pulls you back and forth. This second film says more about mental health than the first film ever even attempted to. All the things that people say they love about the first film aren't even in the first film, but they're in this film. The film is about you. It's a critique of you. It's pointing out that you were wrong, and that's why you hate it, because the biggest crime that anything can do in this world today to the general public is point at you and say, you were fucking wrong. Whether it be this Joker or the Joker from DC Comics, neither of them are heroes. Neither of them are the little guy fighting against the man. They are not characters to be looked up to, emulated, or taken on as part of your identity. One of them is a very sick man who has had a very unfortunate life, who desperately needs help. And the other is a sociopathic murderer who kills men, women, and children, as well as committing all kinds of other crimes against innocent people who have done nothing wrong. So no matter which version of the character it is, if this is a character that you are taking on as a part of your identity, or a character that you are holding up as some kind of heroic icon who should be emulated, you are wrong. And you don't understand either character because you're too busy putting yourself into the power fantasy of both. When the first film started, the filmmakers set out with a preconceived notion about the audience who would embrace the film, and you proved them right. And the second film is showing you how wrong you were, and you refuse to hear it. And in fact, you refuse to even accept it on any level. The things people focus on in this movie are wide and varied, and none of them are the things that are important about the movie. And again, if you like the first movie, that's fine. It's only the people who took it on as a part of their identity and are now raging over this second movie that are the problem. And the truth is, I don't even love the second movie. I don't think it's amazing or great, but it's at least a real film that does real things and has artistic integrity, none of which the first film had. So again, like what you want to like, enjoy what you want to enjoy. If you don't enjoy Joker 2, that's fine too. I don't give a shit. It's bombing in the box office. And I think they knew going into it that it was going to. Now, if you hated the first film and you hate this film, I definitely understand that, because a lot of the core issues of the first film are still present in terms of this film is not about the Joker. This film has nothing to do with Batman or DC Comics, and all of the things that are from that are just window dressing. They don't actually have any value in the story, and it's not what the story is about. I fully understand that, because that's how I thought I would feel before I watched this movie. I went into watching Joker 2 expecting to hate it, really only watching it so I would be able to talk about it with some frame of reference, outside of just what other people had said, which, honestly, that's about what 50% of the people talking about this movie are doing. They didn't actually go watch it. They're just parroting what they heard on YouTube or on TikTok or what they read on Instagram. And if that is your reason for not liking this movie, that is absolutely valid. I think the fact that I had no expectations for this film put me in a place where, when I saw they were actually doing something instead of just trying to swindle us out of our money, it made me pay attention. And once I started paying attention to the film and what it was actually doing and saying, it gave me a larger appreciation for it. And I'm sure that all of you who did love the first movie have already been down in the comments typing away all your insults and your jabs and all those things, only proving the second movie right. You are part of the problem. It's just a movie. They were both just movies. But the second one, you gave them ammunition to actually say something, and you can't handle it. Because, as I said, the worst thing that anyone can do in the modern world is point at you and say, you're wrong. And that is a really sad state of society. So, I think that's about all I have to say. Again, I enjoyed the new Joker movie. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it. It's got a lot of fun. There's great performances, and I do highly recommend it, whether you liked the first movie or not, because I do know a lot of people who like the first movie but see the flaws in it and really enjoyed this movie and saw it as the improvement that it was. So go check it out. Make your own decision. And we should all try to be a little bit less of the problem. Right on, children of the screen. Whether you love me or you hate me, I hope you have a good one. Nerd Scum, out.